that they're reflected in a democratically elected government. And if the very concept of this social contract were to be implemented with the Inter-American Democratic Charter, which needs to be implemented fully, I believe that that would be a very strong contribution we could make. And I should add that the Inter-American Democratic Charter is going to turn 20 in September. I was discussing this with the Secretary General to ensure that we can all mark this important occasion and legal instrument. Democracy should be the raison d'etre of an organization such as ours. And we should all work to strengthen it. There's also one issue of concern. I know that there is a Security and Safety Secretariat that falls under the General Secretariat. It will be my pleasure to get to know everyone little by little. But this issue of concern has to do with something that dramatically affects our security and that needs to be at the top of our agenda. And this is the unspeakable tragedy of drug trafficking and the hydra that it is. This is a tragedy that we hear very little about internationally, but that is a huge challenge and something that affects, I believe, all countries in the American system without a single exception. And we're talking about human trafficking. In Peru, this is a very serious problem. In our neighboring countries, it is as well. And we're not only talking about the most remote areas. This happens within major cities as well. That is one of the major issues that we should fully consider, particularly as we talk about standing up for the rights of the most vulnerable and the rights of the voiceless. This also means defending the rights of groups that have gone unprotected, groups that have been hurt, different segments of the community, women, LGBTI persons who have gone without any protection, and of the many other players within our countries who need for us to focus on them more. Let me close by thanking Sir Ronald Sanders for the very kind words he shared. I know that he read my curriculum so thoroughly that it almost sounds like I do everything that everyone else around the table does, but I am not as great as my CV states. I am simply someone who looks forward to deepening my relationship with all of you and making sure that we do good work going forward. Thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to address this August Assembly.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Now, before I invite coordinators of the regional groups and delegations wishing to welcome the permanent representative of Peru to speak, I have the unfortunate duty to advise that the father of Ambassador Washington Abdallah of Uruguay died over the weekend. That you, the members of the Permanent Council, would want me to express on our collective behalf our sincere condolences to him. I asked the Secretariat to record the Permanent Council's condolences and to please convey them to Ambassador Washington Abdallah. Now, I turn to the more pleasant duty of inviting regional coordinators and other delegations that may wish to take the floor to welcome our new colleague from Peru, Ambassador Harold Forsyth. The floor is open. And first on my list is my good friend, the Ambassador of Guatemala. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the permanent missions of the countries who are member of the Central American Integration System, SICA, Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, and the Dominican Republic, It is my privilege to welcome His Excellency, Ambassador Harold Forsyth, permanent representative of Peru, to the OAS. We have been able to see in his CV his great and multidisciplinary education in areas that are of importance. Among these, diplomacy, international relations, and politics, as well as his work as an educator. We know that with the ambassador, we're going to have richer dialogue and richer debate here at this multilateral forum. Ambassador Forsyth also comes with ample experience in diplomatic circles as Vice Minister, as Secretary General for Foreign Relations, in the High Office for Foreign Relations. He's also been Chief of Mission, both bilaterally with other countries in South America, in Europe and Canada, and Asia, as well as multilaterally with credentials before multilateral organizations throughout the globe, and as a staff member of the OAS. The SICA delegations wish the Ambassador Forsyth, who's been recognized in a number of occasions, the best success in his stewardship of this council as he takes on this position today. Thank you very much. Best of luck, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, the distinguished Ambassador of Guatemala. And now I ask Ambassador Everson Hull of St. Kitts Nevis as the acting coordinator of the CARICOM group to take the floor. Ambassador Hull. We lost Ambassador Hall. Well, you'll come back to him.
No,
He's here.
He's there.
Ambassador Hull, you're muted.
You're a mute, sir.
You have to unmute your mic.
There we go. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Ambassador Harold Forsyth, I'm delighted to extend my warm congratulations to you and welcome you to this august body. You've come at a critical time and the group is faced with several challenges along the way. We're struggling with a number of them, and I think that your background, as reviewed, is very well suited for confronting a number of these challenges. Among these, you may have already heard that we in the CARICOM region have a real problem with the absence of a vulnerability index. That is very much in our minds because we're confronted with these hurricanes each year, but we find ourselves being burdened, whether it's one country or the other, in terms of finding the means for actually protecting ourselves. And that has been one of the difficulties that has been on our mind. Most recently also, we have another difficulty that deals with a 15% minimum corporate tax that is being imposed on many countries. The difficulty is that many of us are small island states, or very competitive small island states engaged in vigorous competition. We typically have very low tax rates imposed. That tax is going to place a severe burden on us. And we very much like to hear your views and your input on this in terms of recognizing that this is a challenge for many of our small island states. And of course, we would welcome your participation in terms of helping to address that. Then too, of course, there's the issue of the massive human capital flight that is underway, of persons huddling on the border. And that too, I know is a matter of some concerns. And I think that it's very important that we get someone with your voice to weigh in on that particular issue in helping to confront that. So that's just a very small list, but I must say that your background, in my view, is very well suited for confronting these issues, and we look forward very much to working with you. Welcome on board, sir.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Hull. And now I give the floor to the Ambassador of Canada, Hugh Adsett. Ambassador Adsett.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of Canada, it is an honor to welcome Ambassador Harold Forsyth as new permanent representative of Peru to the OAS. Canada and Peru have excellent relations at the OAS, but also bilaterally, and I welcome the prospect of continuing to deepen our partnership. Ambassador, I know that you know Canada very well, following your appointment to Canada just a few years ago. We share a number of values and priorities, particularly in terms of human rights, democracy, and inclusive growth for all. I wish to also take this opportunity to congratulate the people of Peru following the bicentennial of its independence this year. Our two countries, for 77 years, excellent ties and diverse ties. Ambassador Forsyth, we're very pleased to know that we enjoy these relationships and welcome. We're happy to have you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Adsett. And now I call on the distinguished representative of the United States of America, Brad Frieden. Brad, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ambassador Sanders. I see that there are several ambassadors waiting. Shall I defer to them? I can follow if you prefer.
I don't know why you would want to do that, Brad, because we've got a list and we're following it closely.
Okay.
But if there's some reason why you wish to delay,
No. First come, first serve, I suppose. Just a matter of protocol, seeing as I'm an interim representative and we have several ambassadors. But let me, I'll be brief. Mr. Chair, representatives of the Permanent Council, Mr. Secretary General, Assistant Secretary General, colleagues and friends, on behalf of the United States and the Biden-Harris administration, I would like to wish the warmest of welcomes to the new permanent representative of Peru, Ambassador Harold Forsyth. The United States is proud to say that we share a strong relationship with Peru, which is founded on shared values of democracy, security, and human rights, values which this organization also shares. We look forward to deepening this relationship going forward. We are also pleased to have the opportunity to work with Ambassador Forsyth again. His impressive experience as a diplomat for Peru means that he will bring a plethora of knowledge and expertise to his role as permanent representative. We are certain that he will be of great value to our organization. Ambassador, we welcome you and your family back to Washington, D.C., and we hope that we'll be able to meet with you in person sometime in the near future. We look forward to working with you again in the OAS context. Thank you very much.
thank you very much, Brad Frieden, the representative of the United States of America. And now I give the floor to the representative of Uruguay.
Thank you very much, Chair. My delegation and also on behalf of the Alade Group, we would like to welcome Ambassador Forsyth and express our appreciation for the efforts that your delegation and you will assuredly undertake on behalf of the organization. Thank you, Chair.
Very much indeed. And now I offer the floor to the distinguished ambassador of Nicaragua, my friend Luis Alvarado.
Thank you very much, Chair. I have some technical issues with my camera, but I will nonetheless make my remarks briefly. Is that acceptable, Mr. Chairman?
Luis.
Ok. Una vena de la...
with the permission of our distinguished regional coordinator, the ambassador of Guatemala, the delegation of Nicaragua would like to welcome Ambassador Harold Forsyth as the permanent representative of Peru, our sister nation, with which we share ties of a very long-standing nature. We look forward to working hand in hand with Peru to overcoming some of the pending issues both within and without the organization. We look forward to your wisdom. Ambassador, please rest assured that you have the collaboration and the friendship of Nicaragua at your service. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. And now I give the floor to the distinguished Ambassador of Chile, Issa Court. Ambassador Court, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, it is an honor to welcome today the new permanent representative of Peru to the Organization of American States, the Honorable Harold Forsyth. The remarkable personal and diplomatic experience that he brings to the table has brought him to represent his country in Chile, Bulgaria, Venezuela, Canada, Germany, Colombia, Italy, China, the United States, Japan, and now before our own Organization of American States. Ambassador Forsyth and I also share experience as members of Congress, and it is a pleasure for us to note that Chile has decorated Ambassador Forsyth with the highest order of merit in that capacity previously. Let us also note that the OAS will be, we are assured, a continued place for opportunity between and among our countries. The ties between our peoples are strong. Chile and Peru converge on their opinions within the OAS based on principles and values that are core and shared. Promotion of democracy, peace, security, and integral development, as well as the fierce support for human rights and for international law are among them. Regionally, in addition to the OAS, we've worked together to create opportunities for regional integration, such as the Alliance for the Pacific and PROSUR. We also coincide in our positions on the care of the environment, particularly the oceans, as well as the use of renewable clean energies and the struggle against climate change. It is key and clear that we around the globe are suffering the harm done by the COVID-19 pandemic in a wide range of areas that have had a short and medium term impact in terms of our growth capacities. As such, Chile and Peru must work together in the OAS to combat the impact of the pandemic on the region. Ambassador Forsyth will also have the chair and the challenge of chairing the Permanent Council, and in that regard, he can rest assured that he has the full support of my delegation and of me personally. Ambassador Forsyth, the delegation of Chile welcomes you most cordially to the OAS. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ambassador of Chile. And now it is my pleasure to give the floor to my very good friend, the Ambassador of Mexico, Ambassador Valle Rivas. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. The delegation of Mexico expresses its most cordial welcome to Ambassador Harold Forsyth, a permanent representative of Peru. His extensive diplomatic experience shows his commitment to this organization. We are hopeful for the priorities of President Pedro Castillo, and we have read and seen the speech by the new foreign minister last week with national diplomacy that is social and decentralized, focused exclusively on national interests. We welcome the renewed approach of the incoming president and welcome the social inclusion and participation it entails. We agree wholeheartedly with social diplomacy as an extension of diplomacy for peace with a commitment to international rights, independent of ideologies, based on shared and common agreements, as well as the rejection of the use of force and threats in the international arena. We welcome the multilateral approach in the context of the OAS Charter, integration, defense of the health of the planet, and international justice. We appreciate Peru's vigorous opposition in the past to interventions in Santo Domingo and in Mexico by foreign nations. We look forward to working hand in hand with Peru in the fight against COVID-19 and in expanding access to vaccines. The Foreign Ministry of Mexico is deeply committed to this. Ambassador Forsyth, Mexico is available to you for the procurement of our shared ideals and principles. Rest assured that we will continue to work with you within the organization despite the pending challenges. We nonetheless must reestablish dialogue and non-intervention as the fundamental principles of the organization. The non-political instrumentalization of the OAS is linked to its prestige, therefore strengthening what binds the member states is of the utmost importance. This should not, however, impede upon our sovereignty. In some, congratulations to your appointment to the organization. We are confident that you will be fully supportive of multilateralism, of the minorities that have been excluded. Let me quote Foreign Minister Benja and say that from the deepest Peru to the Peru for all, as Cesar Vallejo suggested in his poems, Peru will move forward. With this inspiration, we believe in the administration of Pedro Castillo to engage in social diplomacy based on national interests. We look forward to working with you to strengthen our efforts. I welcome and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you, Chair. Again, from the interpreters, sound was extremely deficient at origin. We've done our best.
Thank you very much. I see Ambassador Hull is next on my list, but I have to assume that's an error. And so I will move on to give the floor to Ambassador Arce of Bolivia. Ambassador Arce, you have the floor, sir.
Muchísimas gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you very much. Bolivia is pleased to welcome most cordially Ambassador Forsyth and to congratulate him, representative of our sister Republic of Peru. Here is permanent representative of the OAS. 200 years ago, Peru and Bolivia were a single nation. We are sister peoples. We have a shared past. We are peoples that have developed with principles and values that are similar, and we are both countries that have an august opportunity for the future development. It is a particular joy, therefore, Mr. Chairman, for us to welcome an ambassador of a revolutionary, progressive administration who has risen from the very grassroots of his country through constitutional means, despite all of the adversity that he has faced, to become another of the progressive governments that are supporting the position of the majority across our countries. We appreciate Ambassador Forsyth's experience and expertise and his contributions both in the organization and, of course, outside of it previously. We look forward to working hand in hand with him with the enthusiasm that I know he shares for supporting the goals of the plurinational state of Bolivia. I'd also like to note that Peru, of course, has overcome a tremendous national conflict without shedding a drop of blood. Unfortunately, that did not occur in Bolivia, but we certainly appreciate and value the effort and the transformation that Peru has undergone. Again, we from the government of the Plurinational Republic of Bolivia support you and your president. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Arce. And now I give the floor to the representative of Brazil.
Thank you very much, Chair. Ambassador Harold Forsyth. I am honored to welcome Your Excellency to the OAS, and I wish you the very best in the performance of your duties. I have had the pleasure of serving with you when I was the Brazilian ambassador to Peru several years ago, and have had an opportunity to learn from you and to see your appointment as ambassador in Japan. I also know your son George, who is an extraordinarily gifted athlete and politician, and so I congratulate him as well on his sporting successes of late. Again, as you know, I am married to Cajamarca, Peru, through the person of my wife, and it is therefore a tremendous personal pleasure for me to welcome you to the OAS again on behalf of Peru. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative of Brazil. I now give the floor to the distinguished ambassador of Argentina, Carlos. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I would just like to second the comments expressed by my colleagues in terms of congratulation and the terms of hope. I take special note of the remarks by the ambassador of Mexico and Bolivia. I do not wish to expound upon these thoughts, but just say to Ambassador Forsyth, I look forward to meeting him personally as soon as possible so that we can work jointly on the tremendous agenda that we have before us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I give the floor, not last, but certainly not least, to the Ambassador of Spain, Carmen Monton. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Permanent Observer Mission of Spain, we would like to welcome Ambassador Forsyth, the permanent representative of Peru. Spain has an excellent relationship at the bilateral level with Peru. We have seen this, for example, in recent donations of COVID-19 vaccines from Spain to Peru, especially this week. Ambassador Forsyth, we share concerns, the question of equitable access to vaccines, human rights, democracy, as well as the concerns over human trafficking, as well as LGBTIQ issues that you have mentioned, as well as the topic of climate change. I wish you all the best in the tasks you have before you, and from our humble position as an observer nation, we express our friendship and our willingness to collaborate. I also am speaking here on behalf of Italy, France, and the Holy See, the other observer nations and states that have also asked me to share a very warm welcome to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, that concludes all of the statements from member states. There's no one else on my list. So I can properly say, Ambassador Forsyth, you have been properly, fully, and warmly welcomed to the council of this permanent council. It is my pleasure not only to welcome you as ambassador, but also as chair of this session of the permanent council. I invite you to assume the chair, which I now hand over to you, sir, with pleasure. The chair is yours.
Thank you very much, Sir Ronald, for your very kind remarks, and thank you to all for your works. I honestly am very much overwhelmed by all of these kind remarks. Again, less than 24 hours after my arrival here in Washington, it is a tall task, of course, to take on this lofty responsibility. However, I do wish to thank my colleagues for their kind remarks. I know they've all been made in good faith, and while I welcome them, I do find them a tad scary in terms of my ability to be able to respond to such important goals and expectations specifically. Let me thank the representative of Guyana, particularly for a role in terms of the OAS Retirement and Pension Committee. It is my understanding that in keeping with Article 4.3 of the provisions governing the fund, we understand that there is a new need to elect a new representative of the Permanent Council to the OAS Retirement and Pension Fund Committee. Given again the departure of Ambassador Riyad Insali as permanent representative of Guyana, and I would therefore like to offer the floor to the delegations with regard to the possibilities.
La honorable.
Let me recognize the Honorable Permanent Representative of Grenada, and I am pleased to give the Ambassador the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon, colleagues, Secretary General, Assistant Secretary General, and may I just add my voice to that of my colleague, sir, to welcome you to the OAS and your assumption as Chair of the Permanent Council. The Permanent Mission of Grenada is pleased to nominate Her Excellency Luann Gilchrist, who is a permanent representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as Chair of the Retirement and Pensions Committee. The Permanent Mission of Grenada, like sister permanent missions of the CARICOM Group, recognizes the importance of this committee in advancing the work of the Retirement and Pensions Fund, whose function is to enable and guarantee the economic survival of its beneficiaries and their families. Ambassador Gilchrist has demonstrated and recognized experience in functioning as chair of another committee, which has responsibility for managing and administering funds in the Organization of American States. As chair of the Leo Rowe Fund, she has demonstrated her competence and brings to the chairmanship her keen attention to matters affecting the quality of life and the quality of life of the beneficiaries of the fund. Chair, the Permanent Mission of Grenada is confident that Ambassador Gilchrist will bring this competence and other valuable attributes to the chairmanship of the Retirement and Pensions Fund Committee and ask the Permanent Council to approve this nomination. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the delegate. I see a request from Ambassador Rita De Scioli, and I am very pleased to give Ambassador De Scioli the floor. Thank you very much, Chair. The Permanent Mission of Guatemala is pleased first to second the proposal and the remarks made by the Ambassador of St. Vincent, to nominate the permanent representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ambassador Luan Galen Grilist. And I would also like to request that the election be by acclamation. Thank you very much, Chair.
Entonces,
With pleasure, then, I believe that we can note that Louis Galen Gilrich, I believe we can say, has been elected to the Permanent Council Representative to the OAS Retirement and Pension Committee. We congratulate Ambassador Gilchrist on her election and wish her every success in her tenure. There is a request for the floor from the ambassador and the Permanent Council Representative just elected. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, as Permanent Representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I thank the permanent representatives of Grenada and Guatemala for proposing and seconding my nomination to the chair of the Retirement and Pensions Committee. In addition, I thank Sir Ronald Sanders, coordinator of the CARICOM group, for undertaking the consultations with regional coordinators, and thank the Permanent Council for accepting the nomination. Chair, I give you and this Permanent Council the assurance of my dedication to the chairmanship of the Retirement and Pensions Committee and commit to executing its mandates for the continuing proper and effective administration of the fund. Thank you, Chair.
muchas gracias.
Thank you very much to the permanent representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. With that in mind, we can turn to item 4 on our order of business, which is a consideration of the recommendations on the Committee of the Inter-American Summits Management and Civil Society Participation in OAS activities. With regard to the request of 12 civil society organizations to participate in the activities of the organization, in keeping with the request made by the chair of the CAISC in note CP/INF 9052/21. With regard to that, I would now like to give the floor to the delegation of the United States for commentary.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Esteemed colleagues, in my capacity as chair of the Committee on Inter-American Summits Management and Civil Society Participation in OAS activities, and in compliance with Article 32 of the Rules of Procedure of the Permanent Council, I'm pleased to present the report CP/CISC-1002/21, recommendation of the Committee on Inter-American Summits Management and Civil Society Participation in OAS activities to the Permanent Council regarding the requests of 12 civil society organizations to participate in activities of the organization, unquote. Chair, entering into the subject, the report of the CISC details the activities carried out by the committee in accordance with Article 22 of the Rules of Procedure of the Permanent Council and in compliance with the mandates assigned by the General Assembly in Resolution AG/RES 2949 and previous resolutions on the matter. At the meeting of the Committee on Inter-American Summits Management and Civil Society Participation in OAS Activities, the CISC, held on July 29th, 2021, the CISC, after listening to the report of the Coordination of Civil Society Relations of the Secretariat for Access to Rights and Equity, pursuant to the provisions contained in Resolution CP/RES 759, decided to recommend that the Permanent Council consider approving and accepting the participation of the following 12 civil society organizations in the activities of the organization. I will now read the names of the 12 organizations. From Argentina, Fuerza para la Salud Integral con Perspectiva de Género y Derechos, Asociación Civil, CP/CISC-1011/21. Brazil, Noble Order of Human Excellence, CP/CISC-1016/21. Colombia, Civil Rights Defenders, CP/CISC-1006/21. Mexico, Latin America and the Caribbean Alliance of YMCAs, CP/CISC-1004/21. United States, My Voice Counts Incorporated, CP/CISC-1003/21. Also from the United States, Global Life Safety Alliance, CP/CISC-1007/21. Also from the United States, Human Life International Incorporated, CP/CISC-1008/21. Also from the United States, Sisterhood is a Global Institute, CP/CISC-1012/21. Also from the United States, Virginia Commonwealth University, CP/CISC-1013/21. From the United States, Youth and Democracy in the Americas Incorporated, CP/CISC-1014/21. And last but not least, from the United States, the Transnational Alliance to Combat Illicit Trade, CP/CISC 1015/21. And from Venezuela, Asociación para el Desarrollo de Educación Complementaria, CP/CISC-1009/21. Thank you for bearing with me. Chair, in conclusion, I am pleased to present to the plenary the 12 applications for approval. In the interest of time, I would like to simply to thank the delegations and the Permanent Council, CISC, and the CISC Secretariat, as well as the General Secretariat, for their support in enabling us to fulfill the tasks entrusted to us. We propose to approve these 12 applications. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Delegate. We should certainly thank the chair of the CISC for presenting this list. I do not see any objections. We would like to therefore recommend that the Permanent Council accept the recommendation and approve the participation of CSOs that have been mentioned by the distinguished delegate of the United States. We will also direct the General Secretariat to ensure that these organizations are properly included in the registry of the OAS. If all delegations agree, we can therefore approve what has just been agreed to. Very well, this brings us to item 5, approval of minutes of meetings of the Permanent Council, which according to the rules we have to read specifically with the document reference. And so I will be brief, but will follow this protocol. We have a CP Acta 2154, minutes of the special meeting of the Permanent Council of April 30th, minutes of the regular meeting of the Permanent Council of September 27, 2018, minutes 2190 of the special meeting of the Permanent Council of October 29th, 2018, minutes 2191 of the special PC November 9th, meeting 2192 of the regular meeting of the PC November 14th, minutes 2193 of the regular meeting of the PC November 20th, and minutes 2195 of the special meeting of the PC November 28th, 2018. If there are no new comments from the 19 delegations present here, we can proceed with these minutes as approved. So decided. We can now go to this bittersweet moment, which will be a farewell to a distinguished colleague. I personally have not had the honor of meeting the delegate, and so I simply wasn't able to deepen that relationship as I wish I had. But I should say that Ambassador Bedrising presented her credentials on April 28th, 2017 to become the permanent representative. Over the course of a very successful and distinguished career, she has been involved in the government affairs of Suriname and has held the position of Minister of Foreign Affairs. She is known for thoroughly knowing our organization and this role that I am fulfilling now was something that she experienced back in 2015 when she was part of CD. She served with style, with competence, and of course with solid ethics. On behalf of the Permanent Council, as chair, I would like to thank Ambassador Bedrising for her contributions, her experience, and state that we will always hold fond memories of you. With that, I would like to now open the floor to the coordinators of the regional groups and any other delegations wishing to speak up.
Ofrezco la palabra a la distinguida representante.
I offer the floor to the distinguished permanent representative of Guatemala. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the permanent delegations of Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, and the Dominican Republic, all members of the Central American Integration System, I'd like to take the floor to bid farewell to the very appreciated Ambassador and Sister Baderzing, who is coming to the end of her term as Ambassador of Suriname to the U.S. and as permanent representative of her country to the Organization of American States, where she's served since April 2017, and to the World Bank and Inter-American Development Bank. In the very impressive CV of Ambassador Baderzing, she started her career in 1989, and in 2012 she became the first woman ambassador of her country to the United States of America and to the OAS, where she served for 2 terms. She has been Foreign Minister of Suriname and also served in the Office of the President from 1998 through 2012 and served for 3 presidents as top aide and coordinator for international affairs. Her participation as assistant coordinator for elections in Suriname in 2010 also stand out in her CV. It's important to remember that as permanent representative of Suriname to the OAS, Ambassador Baderzing, in 2015, chaired the Permanent Council and the Council for Integral Development at the same time, as well as was president for the Caucus of Ambassadors of the CARICOM community. The Suriname ambassador's participation in the OAS stood out for the substantive contribution to the work of this organization. This was not only because of the broad experience in diplomacy and in civil service, but also because of her robust experience as a law professional with her master's and doctorates in a number of different areas. Among these were international development, governance, democracy and public policy, international labor law, and others. SICA countries bid farewell to Ambassador Nirmala Baderzing with a very warm goodbye, wishing her all the best in this new chapter that she will begin both personally and professionally. We'll see you soon again, Ambassador. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, Delegate. I offer the floor to the distinguished representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I take the floor to speak briefly as my sister ambassador and dear friend, Nirmala Baderzing, bids us farewell today. The brevity of my comments is inversely proportional to the esteem in which I hold her, but I hope that they do her justice. Ambassador Baderzing's training and professional experience in the fields of diplomacy and public service are wide, and she served her country well as she represented both at home as Minister of Foreign Affairs and twice in this multilateral arena. The acuity displayed in her opinions and her contribution to the work of the CARICOM group will continue to be appreciated even after she leaves. In the personal domain, Ambassador Baderzing has been a wonderful friend to many of us And so we hope that the rhythm of her new life will not alter this cherished friendship, as we will all carry her in our hearts. Ambassador Battery Singh, on behalf of the permanent mission of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and on my own behalf, I bid you farewell and leave with you our best wishes for success, good health, and happiness. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador. It is my pleasure to now offer the floor to the alternate representative of Uruguay. And of course, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Ambassador Badgersing, who is the object of this item 6 on our agenda. Welcome, Ambassador. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, TIS Uruguay. On behalf of my delegation and on behalf of Aladi, we would like to very warmly greet our ambassador and friend and sister, Ambassador Badgersing, who goes back to her country after doing great work as permanent representative of Suriname to the OAS. We'd like to extend to the ambassador our full recognition as a woman in a senior position representing her country not only to the OAS, but also the other positions she has held and she will continue to hold in the future, and for the wonderful work she has done at the OAS. Thanks to your work, you have earned the professional and personal respect of all of those who have worked with you and who have been by your side. On behalf of Uruguay and of Aladi, we wish you great success in each of your future endeavors. And that goes for both your personal projects as well as your professional projects. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the delegate. Let me offer the floor to the permanent representative of Canada. You have the floor, sir.
Gracias, Señor Presidente. Thank you very much. Ambassador, it's a pleasure to see you on screen this afternoon, and it's a pleasure, although as always it's a little bit sad to say goodbye to colleagues, but a pleasure to say goodbye to somebody who's been such a professional and distinguished colleague of ours over the last period of time. Others have talked about your very impressive CV, and that's something that comes across in all of your interactions with each of us. Very high quality professionalism, but always in a very friendly manner, and one that allows us to work together so ably on so many priorities. Suriname's an important and valued partner for Canada. We share many of the same regional, hemispheric, and global priorities. For Canada and Suriname, it's been a really busy period of unprecedented engagement, to calls between our foreign ministers, Minister Ramdeen's participation in the Canada CARICOM Foreign Ministers Group meeting, Suriname's participation in the global launch of the Declaration Against Arbitrary Detention last February. And in the activities in this organization, your diplomatic skills have certainly shone through. We'll look forward, I'm sure, to maintaining the momentum between our countries, but really today is to wish you personally the best of luck in your future endeavors. We'll all have very good memories of the chance to work with you, and we let you depart from us with a warm goodbye and the fondest best wishes. Best of luck.
Muchas gracias, señor embajador. Tiene la palabra el distinguido representante de los Estados Unidos.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. The United States has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The United States would like to join the other delegations in thanking Ambassador Badgersing for her nearly decade-long service at the OAS and wishing her well with the next chapter of her distinguished career. Ambassador Badgersing has been an integral member of the OAS. In her time at the organization, she has always been a pleasure to work with and has kept the best interest of the OAS at heart. We're sad to be losing such a great colleague, but we wish Ambassador Badgersing all the best in her future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Delegate. I offer the floor to the Ambassador of Grenada, Ambassador Smith. You have the floor. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I am smiling because my friend is on the screen. My dear CARICOM sister ambassador, Nia Mallow. We will miss you at the OAS, at the CARICOM Caucus of Ambassadors, but more acutely within the circle of the sisterhood. The wisdom and experience that you've brought to this body is unparalleled. You have served your country faithfully for over 32 years, and I'm not dating you here, but you have held such high offices: presidential advisor, foreign minister, and diplomat. And among all the roles that you've played, including mother and sister and colleague, the one I want to reflect on is that of friend. It was a pleasure for me personally to work and study with you. Congratulations and thank you. You're such an inspiration and you are so gracious. While I don't begrudge you your retirement from the public service, I must confess that I was very melancholy when I learned that you're leaving. However, I'm delighted that our friendship will endure. And this is not a goodbye, it is just me simply getting a chance to publicly express every best wish for your success in the future. And I know your endeavors would benefit tremendously from your professionalism, but also your vigor and your zest for life. Continue to blaze the trail for others behind you and walk good.
Madam Ambassador, it is an honor to offer the floor to Sir Ronald. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I'm quite happy that I've come after my colleague from Grenada, Ambassador Yolan Smith, because she revealed to me just now something I did not know, that there was a secret sisterhood going on in the CARICOM group. But nonetheless, it's clearly a sisterhood that worked for everybody because we benefited enormously from Ambassador Bad Rising's presence, as we do from Ambassador Smith. So long may the sisterhood last. Chair, Ambassador Nemala Bad Rising would be a great loss to the CARICOM group, to this permanent council, and to our organization as a whole. She brought to our collective work considerable experience as a former Minister of Foreign Affairs, advisor to the President of Suriname, twice Ambassador to the United States of America, twice permanent representative to the Organization of American States, and chair of the Permanent Council. Her contributions to our deliberations have always been measured, and while she represented the interests of our country robustly, she also demonstrated great flexibility in seeking consensus on issues confronting this organization. She understood well that consensus promotes agreement and overcomes divisions, and that it takes hard diplomatic work to build consensus and understanding. She was always ready to give helpful advice and to apply a healing touch so that disagreement on a particular issue did not become a barrier for agreement on many other issues. Ambassador Bad Rising has faith in the capacity of this Organization of American States to be a force of benefit for each of our countries individually and for all of them collectively. In this regard, she worked to keep the OAS faithful to all the articles of its charters, not just the ones selected for specific purposes from time to time. We in CARICOM will miss the benefit of her experience and the wisdom of her knowledge. As she departs the halls of the Organization of American States as a voice of reason, we wish her well, knowing fully that her ability and capability will open new pathways of service to our family of the Americas. Mr. Chairman, we thank Nirmala Badrising for her service to CARICOM, to the OAS, and to the Permanent Council. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Ronald. Let me offer the floor to the distinguished representative of the Bahamas. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chair. And since this is the first time I'm taking the floor for this day, let me add my congratulations to you, sir, and welcome you to this forum and pledge the Bahamas' support in your work over the next few years. But Chair, the main reason why I take the floor is to not say farewell to my friend, but to say we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And as you sit there, Ambassador Badrising, with all of the greetings and the well wishes, you are literally glowing. Maybe you know something we don't know, but I'd like to join in with all of the sentiments, particularly from the CARICOM caucus, and endorsing all of the observations and the accolades that have been bestowed upon you. Distinguished delegates are not aware, but you and I have a back channel friendship, and I don't want that to be taken the wrong way. The only regret I have, Ambassador Badrising, was on your visit to the Bahamas with that invitation to join you for a drink at the Atlantis. I was not able to take advantage of it. But since you have shared some of your immediate plans with me for the immediate future, I'm sure we will have an opportunity to make up for that drink. I know of some of your plans. You are now having a well-deserved leave of absence. I don't know how long it will be, but leave of absence from all of these official duties for your country and to this organization. I can only wish you well, Nehemiah, and we shall stay in touch. Godspeed.
Thank you very much, esteemed Ambassador. It is my pleasure at this time to offer the floor to the Secretary General. You have the floor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And congratulations on your assumption of office as chair.
Tour of duty representing Suriname to leave a void in the activities of our organization, especially in this permanent council where you demonstrated your knowledge and your diplomatic skills. You know, these are not merely kind, hollow words, but words that reflect the true story of a woman, a Caribbean woman, who has distinguished herself with an excellent professional career in her country and internationally. Very impressive professional qualities, professional qualities. You have all of them. This House of America has been and will always be your home. You have represented your country at the OAS on 2 occasions, and as Minister of Foreign Affairs of Suriname, you were always very deferential towards the organization and towards me personally. I remember you were chairing the Permanent Council when I presented my plan of action in February 2015. Since then, it was a great pleasure to work together with you. I have learned a lot from you, from regional affairs, global affairs, but also from the relevant things of life. You share with me a lot of valuable lessons, including quotations from your mother. Then you left, and then you come back. I really hoped that you will keep coming back. Do remember also that when you presented your credentials in April 2017, we had an opportunity to talk about your vision for the organization and the various issues in which Suriname took a special interest. On that occasion, you stated that the global and interconnected nature of the 21st century challenges require collective actions to find solutions that transcend national borders for renewed multilateralism, one that could be based in an integrated approach and one that could be more in tune with the principles of international law and international relations. I also have to say that I loved my visits to Suriname. They were always so carefully planned that I may have some moments for me too, eventually. I was also able to see the enormous potential of your country. We at the Organization of American States General Secretariat were delighted that you were here, and we appreciated your hard work over these nearly 4.5 years of diplomatic activity in the organization. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Normal.
Muchas gracias, señor secretario general.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. It is now my great honor to offer the floor to the Ambassador of Suriname, once again expressing my deep regret for not having had the opportunity of developing a personal relationship, but I'm sure that that is an opportunity going forward. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair of the Permanent Council, Secretary General of the OAS, Assistant Secretary General, ambassadors, permanent representatives, permanent observers, alternate representatives, staff of the General Secretariat, colleagues, and friends. Thank you, Chair. Again, I would like to use this opportunity as well to congratulate you, Ambassador Forsyth, with your appointment as the permanent representative of Peru to the OAS, as well as the assumption of your role as the President of the Permanent Council. I wish you much success in the execution of your responsibilities. Colleagues, allow me to express my sincerest appreciation for your kind words, your time, as well as your effort today to bid farewell to me in my capacity as the permanent representative of the Republic of Suriname to the OAS. I wish to extend my heartfelt thanks for the friendship, the trust, and the constructive professional relationship that I have experienced in my interactions during my tenure. I feel very privileged and honored for the opportunity of having served as the first female permanent representative of my country to the OAS and to contributing to the furthering of relations between Suriname and the OAS in different areas. I'm indebted to my country, the government, and the people of Suriname for their confidence in me to representing them at this august and the oldest regional organization of our hemisphere. Serving within the OAS for almost 8 years, namely between 2012 and 2015, and from 2017 onwards, has provided me an exceptional opportunity for not only an in-depth understanding of the inter-American system and the work of the OAS in the areas of democracy, human rights, integral development, and multi-dimensional security, but also of the many challenges and the successes that our organization has experienced. My engagement at the OAS as a permanent representative, as well as mentioned earlier on by many of you as the chair of the Permanent Council and of CD, has certainly contributed to the advancement of my professional development in multilateralism in general, but regionalism in particular. My country has certainly developed a constructive cooperation with the OAS in different areas pertaining to the 4 pillars of the organization, for which I express my gratitude. Worth mentioning are the productive collaboration related to the electoral observation missions, multidimensional security, particularly within the context of CICAD, and capacity building in the area of strengthening democracy, democratic institutions, and human rights. Allow me, Chair, to dedicate a special word for the Secretary General. Secretary General, I'm cognizant of the fact that during my tenure, your pragmatic and effective as well as principled leadership of the organization has advanced common goals in different areas. My country has benefited from your commitment to democracy, to peace, political stability, and dialogue with stakeholders in my society while seeking peaceful solutions for, at times, somewhat contentious matters for which I have to express my appreciation. In the same vein, it would be remiss of me not to express my appreciation to the members of the CARICOM sub-regional group with whom I have had the distinct privilege to work within the multilateral as well as bilateral context. It has been a remarkable experience to engage with each other in different matters related to, among others, the political, diplomatic, strategic, security and developmental interests of the region in general, and the national interests of our countries in particular. I have to admit that I often felt very proud to be part of one of the most influential and strongest political diplomatic alliances within multilateralism, simply because quite often we have been able to demonstrate that solidarity and the unified and principled position pertaining to different matters can set a standard for exemplary coalition building and diplomacy. Finally, Chair, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the staff of the Permanent Mission of the Republic of Suriname for their dedication, for their commitment and confidence in me, and for their support to enable a successful execution of my tasks and responsibilities during my tenure as the permanent representative. Now, following the end of my tenure, I will demit from public service after more than 3 decades and serving 4 consecutive presidents in different public positions. It has been an extraordinary professional journey in serving my country and the people of the Republic in Suriname in international relations, in international politics, and in diplomacy. I plan to embark into new professional challenges in the near future in the United States, and I do hope that our paths will cross in this new phase of my life. Thank you all for your support, and thank you so much, Chair and Secretary General, Assistant Secretary General. God bless. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador, and I wish you the very best of success in the future. Before concluding this item, I would like to note that I have not yet met Ambassador Abdallah, but I do extend my condolences on the loss of his father, and I trust that we will be able to do that virtually at a subsequent meeting. At this time, we would now turn to other business, matters of an informational nature, and I understand that Ambassador Carlos Jativa of Ecuador has requested the floor, and then subsequently the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ambassador Jativa, welcome. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Unfortunately, I was unable to participate in discussion on item 2, which was, of course, to welcome you. Unfortunately, I was in a Zoom meeting with the foreign minister, and I could not step out of that. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to greet you and wish you the very best in your new role as the permanent representative of Peru. Of course, my delegation is at your disposal, And certainly, as sister countries and neighboring countries, we look forward to the best relationship. And let me also congratulate you on your assumption as the chair of this august body. And I am very much familiar with your talent and your diplomatic qualifications, and I'm sure, therefore, that you will be very successful in this role. And while I have the floor, let me also recognize our outgoing ambassador, my very good friend of the Republic of Suriname, on her departure. Thank you, Ambassador Khativa, for these very kind remarks. And also, it is a pleasure to greet you as representative of Peru, as well as now as the chair of the Permanent Council. I now recognize the ambassador of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and my understanding is that on that note, we would be able to conclude the interventions. Madam Ambassador.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, please pardon me for taking the floor once more during this session. I would, however, like to congratulate you on your appointment as permanent representative of your country, and also on the assumption to the presidency of the Permanent Council. Chair, on behalf of my delegation, I express sincere gratitude to the Secretary General and to colleague permanent representatives who, in their personal capacity and on behalf of their government, extended good wishes for the recovery of Prime Minister Gonsalves following the injury which he sustained a few days ago as he made his way to the Parliament. As Sir Ronald indicated, Prime Minister Gonsalves is recovering well from his head injury and will continue to have the necessary medical checks conducted to ensure a complete recovery. I thank you, Chair.
Gracias, señor embajador.
Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador. Mr. Secretary General, you have the floor. Thank you, Chair. Just for informational purposes, for those of you who did not receive the information previously, I had tested positive on July 29th. I was tested 2 days ago. I fortunately had very slight symptoms. I have nonetheless tested negative, and therefore I've been able to put that illness behind me. I do want to nonetheless express my solidarity to all those who have suffered this much more than I, and those who have lost a loved one in the context of this pandemic. So my call is solidarity to them and to us all. It is important to take good care of ourselves, to get vaccinated, and to be very responsible in our actions. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Secretary General. The Chair is indeed very much in favor of what you have just said. We therefore send greetings to the Secretary General, to the Assistant Secretary General, and all of the personnel. With this, the session is adjourned.